What's up, everybody? Today we're talking about the most accurate rifles I have ever reviewed. Now, I did another video by this name 2 years ago, and the reason I wanted to make this is because I watched that video this morning and I thought, almost the entire list is completely different in 2024. And so we're going to kind of split it up into different sections of different guns. But first, just a quick note on accuracy in general and what exactly we mean by that. So when we talk about group size, that means many things to many people. Sometimes that's, the closest 3 shots have ever happened to land after I shot, 40 different groups. I don't want to talk about that at all today. We want to talk about average group size. And so a lot of the numbers you're going to see here are 3-shot groups, but it's the average of shooting 5, 7, 10, 20 different groups and averaging them together on these guns. So let's take a look at the most accurate rifles I have ever reviewed. Starting with the heavy hitters. So I want to highlight 2 different guns in this category. First, the Sako 90, and second, the Fierce Rogue. Let's talk about the Fierce Rogue first. I shot that one, I guess, a year ago is when that gun came out. Emily loved that gun, by the way. Here's when she took her first shots with it.
Your reaction is priceless. Did it hurt?
No!
Now that's a 300 PRC in a very lightweight 7-pound rifle, and first of all, the recoil wasn't bad at all with a good muzzle brake on there. It was fun to shoot, but accurate as well. We were getting about, on average, 0.75-inch groups at 100 yards. That is extremely commendable in a 300 PRC. If you look at some brands, they will give their 1 MOA guarantee, but they stop it at a certain recoil level and they say guns, heavier hitting rifles than this, we don't actually give that 1 MOA guarantee. I hate if I'm wrong with this, I need to fact check myself, but I'm pretty sure that's true with Christensen. I don't think they have the 1 MOA guarantee on things over 300 Win Mag. It's harder to get those guns to shoot well. Another that fits in that heavy hitter category is this one. I've been talking about this one quite a bit lately. This is the Sako 90 Quest. I took this one on a recent elk hunt. I've produced many half-inch groups with this gun. The average, though, is 0.6 inches that we're getting with this and the Sako Powerhead blade ammunition. It's an absolutely incredible gun. One of the reasons that it's hard for a gun to shoot well with those heavier cartridges is because it just highlights all of the problems in the action and how square everything is to the barrel, because it has so much force coming back that if there's any twist that you're going to notice, and you know how the stock mates up with the recoil lug, everything like that we don't want to mess around. In the truly terrifying half MOA or better group is this gun. I've mentioned this gun on the channel many times. This is the Bergara Premier approach, and I know what you're saying, where's the rest of the gun? Well, the thing that I've said quite a few times is that I loved how accurate the gun was, but it just felt too chunky, heavy, just not something I wanted to actually take coyote hunting. This is called the Ultradyne chassis. It's the UD chassis from Ultradyne. So it took a gun that I loved, but it just wasn't, I just didn't enjoy shooting. And it gives me an ARCA rail here. We have M-LOK slots everywhere. You get a full magazine instead of just the bottom metal that I have. You have an adjustable cheek piece. You have a nice bag rider. Like, that's the kind of platform that I prefer to shoot. It's just so much more functional. And you can get it for a reasonable price. So they have different options in each of the pieces you get. So this is a little 3-slot, and this is the 7-slot. You can see the difference in the size there if you want to get it super lightweight and compact. Plus, they have different grips you can pick. It's like Legos when you're looking at their stuff. I picked one with a big thumb shelf. Anyway, really cool. So check out Ultradyne. They have some awesome products, especially if you have some accuracy issues that you think may be related to a plastic junky stock. That's a sweet upgrade to a gun. I actually want to quick run out to the range and shoot this one because I'm excited to see that chassis and see if I'm able to maintain the accuracy that this gun produces. Well, if we can shoot that good in these conditions, that's a pretty incredibly accurate gun. 0.39, 0.4. That'll do just fine. For how unsteady I was, I could totally see my heartbeat in the scope. That's pretty awesome. Up next is this guy. This is the Vandal from Horizon Firearms, chambered in 22 Creedmoor. I took this gun on a deer hunt and I had just awesome success with this thing. It's one of very few guns. In fact, it may even be that, like, if my life depended on it and I had to go put 5 shots in 1 inch, it's possible it'd be this guy. I've just had extremely reliable results with it. When I was there, one of the cool things they showed me is with 22 Creedmoor, you shoot an ELDX and ELD match, and they actually land in the same spot, even out to range. And so it's a light little compact gun. It's shooting incredibly accurate groups, and you can go from match to range just like that, just swap your ammo. You don't even have to change your scope or anything. It's using a TriggerTech trigger in here, and I really like the stock and just the overall aesthetics of this thing. Pretty cool gun. Last one in this truly terrifying category is I'm putting the Bergara Premier Competition in there. Do notice how many times in this video I'm going to say Bergara Premier. The Bergara Premier series have just been very reliable shooters for me. They produce some good stuff. So this is, if you're wanting to get into factory competition, this is a great place to get in there. It has a clear Cerakote over the barrel that just looks really, really cool, and a very functional MPA chassis. We've shot, 0.2 inch groups out of this thing, but on average, it's about 0.4 that we're getting from this. And this is in 6.5 Creedmoor. But that's where I wanted to stop for a second. So you notice 6.5 Creedmoor, 22-250, 22 Creedmoor, and then the last one in this category is the Ruger American Gen 2. Unfortunately, several of these rifles are pretty expensive that we're talking about. I mean, we are talking about the best of the best that I've reviewed, right? But here's one that's one of the cheapest guns on the market, and the Ruger American Gen 2 just crushes in terms of accuracy. Mine is chambered in 223, and I mean, we're shooting 0.3 inch groups, 0.4 inch groups. I mean, that's what it looks like every time. They're just tiny little groups. I love that gun, especially the price point. But then look, a 6.5 Creedmoor, but then a super heavy platform. A 22 Creedmoor, a 22-250, and a 223. Now these are great, incredible guns in their own right, because I have lots of lightweight guns that don't shoot well, but there is something about the lighter recoil and shooting a better group. This category I'm calling just your typical hunting class. These are, moderate recoil guns, 6.5 PRC, 270, 6.5 Creedmoor kind of stuff. And there are several that I've had incredible luck with. But I will say overall, if you want to just get a gun off the shelf and have the best chance of it shooting well, get a 6.5 Creedmoor. I hate saying it because I wish people would shoot a little bit heavier hitting of cartridges, especially for hunting. But you know what? It's just true. As I've reviewed a lot of guns, when they come in 6.5 Creedmoor, in general, it's easier to find a load that it likes and get it shooting. So let's highlight a few that have done well here. This one I reviewed recently. This is the Savage 110 Trail Hunter, and I'm getting, I would call it 3/4 minute groups most of the time, 0.6 inches, but it's in a 7 PRC, and so that's pretty impressive, but it is a little bit heavier weight of a gun. Now, the same action and barrel, Savage 110, it comes in 1,000 different flavors, more than Baskin-Robbins. The same Savage 110 in the ultralight version using a different stock, but also a proof research barrel. I got even better accuracy out of that thing. That has been a great shooter. I don't have that gun anymore, but I had it in 270, and that was an excellent shooter that definitely deserves to be mentioned in this group. Up next is Cole, my son's favorite gun by a long shot. This is the Sig Cross in 6.5 Creedmoor. We have put, I'd guess, around 1,500 rounds through this just over the last year and a half. We really love this gun, love that it is folding everything. And we have a hand load that shoots reliable half-minute groups with this gun. We've tried several different factory loads and had decent success. I mean, they weren't shooting perfectly or poorly, but our hand load just is magic with this thing. Then we move up in price. Unfortunately, the Savage 110 series is very inexpensive. Ruger Americans, very inexpensive. Those are great options. Now we're going to talk about a couple more expensive ones. This is the Fierce Mountain Reaper. It's maybe my favorite hunting rifle. I love the platform, so much carbon fiber, very convenient to shoot, and it is very accurate. We're getting 0.6, 0.5 inch groups most of the time when we're shooting the Fierce Mountain Reaper with Hornady match ammo. And the Bergara Premier Divide. We got some awesome 0.3 inch groups shooting this when we reviewed it using Hornady match ammo as well. I often say that when you get a new gun, budget for some ammo if you want it to shoot well. Go buy 5 different loads and test all of them to see which one shoots the best. The problem is that's an expensive thing to do. I mean, if ammo is $50, $60, $70 a box sometime, that's a huge investment to find out which one it shoots. Now, guns are individuals, and that's why I feel like it really is worth your time to test different loads on your gun. But I started to notice something about a year ago that I've really been paying attention to. When I went through multiple loads and I found which one worked best for my gun, I would often see that other reviewers found the exact same thing. And so Backfire is announcing today the Rifle Accuracy Database, RAD. And I want you to go to backfire.tv/submit accuracy report. backfire.tv/submit accuracy report. And just tell me what gun you have, what it's chambered in, and what ammo you found to work well and what isn't working well. And we're going to compile it into a huge database that's just going to be freely available to everybody so that you don't have to go spend $250 on ammo every time you get a new gun. You can go there and see your starting point. Now, sometimes guns are individuals and one may like something different than others, but in general, they're kind of liking the same thing. And so I hope it'll save everybody some money. So go check out the link and submit your accuracy report. We're going to compile that and be putting it out publicly. Thanks, guys. Hunting weight rifles, 6.5 Creedmoor, 6.5 PRC. Very common to see something that's shooting one MOA. Pretty common, you know, Springfield 2020 Waypoint. I was getting, you know, very reliable 0.75 inch groups. These guns have taken that further. These are in the half, 0.6 inch kind of area where on average they're shooting that well. That's pretty cool to see. Last category, we got to go into the gun vault. We want to talk about the little guys. So air guns and 22s. This is a great way, if you know it's probably you in the gun, to start with these. So this is the FX Impact. It is the creme de la creme of your air guns. So this is shooting a 35 caliber slug, and it, you know, heavier than a typical 22. At the same speed, you're going subsonic, so it's quiet, there's no recoil, and you're using just air. So it's an expensive gun, but once you get it, you can shoot your whole lifetime without buying ammunition. Just need lead to send downrange, just your slugs, which is much cheaper. So if you're shooting very high volume, a trainer like this can be awesome. And usually at 50 yards with 22s, these things can produce some crazy good groups. Another that I want to highlight in terms of very, very accurate 22s is this guy. This is the Backfire B14R. It is using the HMR platform, the stock, but it's in a 22. And I had a much more expensive 22 that I shot some NRL 22 competitions with, and this thing was shooting just as good for less than half the cost. And so I love this gun. This is very, very fun to shoot. Backfire B14R, if you're looking for a precision 22, is a pretty sweet setup. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us in this video. Hopefully we'll see lots more very accurate rifles to highlight for this video in another 2 years. Until then, we'll see you in the next video.